Oh, that one wasn't quite as good. I was hoping it would be better than that. That one just kind of went for it. Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome to the Unhinged BookCast, a podcast hosted by Jess and LJ who love all things fantasy books. I'm LJ.
And I'm Jess, and we're happy to have you back again.
Whether we're deep diving into thoughts and theories or just writing the vibes, we love discussing our current reads with each other and now with all of you.
Tonight we are finishing book 5 in the Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout, A Soul of Ash and Blood. We have read from chapter present 7 through the end of this book. This will be another spoiler-free series as long as you've read through our current reading section.
Now you can discuss with us spoiler-free chapter by chapter in our club on the Fable app.
Also, please do all the things, liking, following, and subscribing on all of our platforms. It really helps us out.
These are romantic fantasy books that are intended for adults. We will be talking about war, gore, and no pants dances tonight.
So, this is your content warning. Our discussions are not suitable for little listening ears. We hope you all are reading along with us, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts and theories as well.
First off, is release day. Woo! Of
Okay.
Primal of Blood and Bone, book 6 in the Blood and Ash series. We are so excited to get into it. So if you haven't yet, go out and pick it up and get to reading with us. If you got a special or limited edition, send pics. Of course, we want to see those.
Yeah. And also, so we will be taking next week off to get into our first section of book 6, but we will still have 2 bonus episodes that go with our reading order coming out next week. So 2 in 1 week.
But let's get into tonight's episode because I'm so freaking excited to talk about my biggest I told you so yet. So let's do it.
All right. So present 7. We're still recapping. I mean,
Yeah.
this whole book is literally recapping.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember what story we left off on last week, if I'm being honest.
Just a name because he called her Poppy for the first
That's
time.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yep,
right.
yep,
They're in the
yep.
library and all that stuff. Okay.
Or coming back from the library or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, we're back in the present time though.
And he's
Poppy's
still
still asleep on her bed in stasis, and Cass Steele is telling Poppy about, he starts to tell her about when he killed the Duke. And then that's like,
uh
and like when things started to change for him, when the plans started to change. Um, so Cass kind of tells us about a little chit chat that he had with the Duke before he kills him.
hmm
Um, and he does make a good point when he's talking to the Duke about how this random thought stuck with me that the bloodstone both kills and completely obliterates a vampire, while wood from the blood forest tree simply kills them slowly and painfully. I was like, that's kind of weird. Like the bloodstone
hmm
just like turns him to ash, but the wood from the blood tree is just like a normal like kills him. Um,
Interesting.
yeah. I don't know
Actually,
if it's
yeah, that is
important, but I
really,
was
I
just
don't know,
like,
but it
that's
is
kind
kind of
of, I didn't,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't put that together, but
And then I didn't put it in the notes, but like I was so disappointed with this.
with
I
how he
thought
killed
this,
him,
yes, I thought this was going to be so much more
I
extravagant
know, I felt the
and
same
so
way.
much more like
Yeah.
kick-ass stuff. And it kind of wasn't. It was kind of lame.
It
And I
felt
know that's
rushed,
horrible, but
too
yeah,
rushed. He
too
needed to
rushed.
take his time. He needed more time. We're
We needed more
terrible.
time. Why did we need to know about all some other things? But
I know.
we didn't get enough here, and it kind of upset me.
I know. I do agree. I felt the same way.
Let's see, and then we have the Willow.
Yeah, so this is I think where things kind of started to change.
Yeah.
Um, so he talks about how like when they're under the willow, and then after they're under the willow and they're messing around with each other, and then Victor catches them. Um, Kieran's actually like there in the garden waiting in
Oh,
the
is he?
shadows. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I thought they were waiting for the right for a distraction
Well, I think okay, no, maybe you might be right.
because I think they were waiting for the right for a distraction because they knew the dissenters were going to do
No, I
it.
even have it in here. Kieran was
Oh,
in the
really?
garden waiting
Oh, okay.
because the dissenters were supposed to just start some fires like far away, not far away, but far enough away that it wasn't going to cause harm to anyone there at the right. They were supposed to just
Oh,
start
okay.
fires to like cause a distraction and whatnot. And then they were gonna take advantage of that chaos, and Kieran was gonna get them out.
Oh,
So
okay.
Kieran is there waiting, and then he's like, "Dude, why didn't you kill Victor and get her out?" And then that's when he's like, "Yeah, plans change. I guess I'll have to take her later tonight at the servant store."
Okay, so moving on to back in the present with present number 8.
Okay, so Cass and Kieran are just talking over Poppy's peaceful body sleeping there. I just kept having that image in my mind.
I feel
He's
like
like,
this is my husband goes into stasis when he sleeps because he
mine
could sleep
too.
this hard.
I know. I always tell him that if someone broke in the middle of the night, I'd be the one that would have to save us because he's useless
Exactly.
when
He's
he's
useless.
asleep.
Useless.
Okay. So anyway, so Cass and Kieran are talking, and they're just like hashing out things, I believe, in this chapter. And the only note I really had was they in their conversation, they kind of make a good point. They're like, "What is Millie?" Because she was ascended, but she wasn't. But she is a rev,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
she is a rev because she was like the first one that Isbeth created because Callum taught her how to create the revs because she thought Millie died. Well, Millie did die.
Because she was trying to save Millie, and that's how she
Right.
made her
And
into a
that's how
rev.
she, because it didn't work to ascend her and turn her into what Poppy is, because that's what she originally
hmm
wanted. And so
hmm
then okay, so she is a rev.
She is a rev,
Um,
and then she is a god, but she's not a god. Is for what I kind of gathered.
Basically, yeah, which is like what the revs are. They're like false gods and the
Yeah.
vampires, but the revs are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
confusing.
it is. And then they were just like, how is, and then there's Callum, and like, how has Callum stayed alive this long? Because he lived in the land of Drakens, we
hmm
think, right? I mean, we
hmm
know that actually because he
We
showed up in
we
our
know that.
last
Yeah.
Flesh and Fire. So
They don't
yeah,
know that.
and right. But it is a good point. Like, how has he stayed alive this long?
Yeah.
Because the Drakens could have taken him out back
Yeah.
then if they wanted to. Anyways, and then we just segue now into the story about the attack on the right, and that's our next chapter.
Yeah. That's not what I had planned.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you can talk about the right first, and then we talk
Okay.
about the Victor situation.
Yeah, so Cass kind of talks about how, again, how the attack on the right was out of his control. Like, that wasn't the plan. The plan was that they were just supposed to set fires. There was a plan, because that was the night he was supposed to take Poppy.
Yeah. And the
And they were,
dissenters are the ones that like took it off the rails, right?
right, they just
Okay.
went crazy with it and attacked the full on attack the right instead of just setting fires and as a diversion like they were supposed to. So
Yeah.
he's like responsible but not responsible is what he kept trying to tell her.
But he still feels like it's blood on his hands.
Yeah.
And then her vengeance.
Yeah, so I was like, I must have been sleeping when I read this in book 1, maybe. Um because I don't remember her sneaking out after she wakes up again. Do
I
you remember
didn't
that?
either.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so Castiel tells this story, so maybe this is a new story, something we didn't read about in book 1. But apparently after Poppy woke up, like finally after the attack and everything, she sneaks out again. He follows her and then confronts her and cuz he can like with his superpower hearing and everything, he can hear how the vampires are like going crazy on the town and he's like, "It is not safe for you to be out here."
hmm
Um but she was apparently going out to take care of Agnes, kill Agnes. So that was the woman who came up to them during the rite and basically kind of warned them, but didn't clearly warn them that something was going to go down that
And
night.
she was the first. Okay, so the first guy that Poppy like
Mm-hmm. That we know, yeah,
does the
in the
thing,
reading, does the
that's his
death with dignity.
wife.
Right, right. And so she's like out for blood. She's wants vengeance, and so she's like, I'm gonna go take care of this woman because she knew and she didn't clearly tell us what was going on, and Victor
Yeah.
could still be alive if we knew what was going to happen.
Yep.
Um, and then Cass talks about how he talks her off the ledge, tells her it would have actually made her feel worse after the dust settles, that if she did kill Agnes, that she wouldn't have been happy with herself later. So they go back to the palace.
Yep. We have So I Lied.
So this is Cass talking about how he had a little meeting with Kieran and the Red Pearl after the rite and about their plans, and Kieran's like, dude, what the hell happened? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there were so many opportunities and you didn't take them to take her. And he's like, no, 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 this is good because now she's going to get called to the Capitol and we can escort her to the Capitol. And this is the part where Kieran is really like, dude, what's
Come
going
on
on?
now.
Come on.
Like,
There's
come
something
on,
going
bro.
on. You've got feelings for this chick.
Yeah. And then we have this is progress.
So this is where I just have a C as my notes, but Cass tells Poppy that she's been summoned to the Duchess's office and that she's been now summoned to the Capitol.
Yep. And then we jump back into present number 9.
So I did kind of find this a little interesting. So we're back in the present time, and Cass is saying how he kind of realizes now how strange it was that the Duchess had no problem with him being in Poppy's private chambers alone because she like walks in, and of course he's got his super special hearing and stuff, so he hears her coming. So he was on the bed with her while she's asleep, and he hops up, stands at the window all professional, and she walks in, and
Oh
she has
yeah.
no problem with that because he's not supposed to be in there, especially with the door shut,
Yeah.
alone with her. And the Duchess just didn't even care. So this is where Cass is kind of like,
That's
now in
weird.
hindsight, I can see how they knew they had to have known the Duke and Duchess, like who I was and like how deep Isbeth's plans went towards
Yeah.
everything, and how they basically helped him facilitate taking Poppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we have a significant moment. And I just want to put in here just her feeling the sun and wind on her face
Mm-hmm.
again. Still just a really good little part to put in there and just impactful
Mm-hmm.
the second time around as well.
I agree. It really was. It was like she's out without the veil. She's just her. She's not in a dress. She's not in white.
Yeah, and
She
I
can
think
just be
this is
her.
like back when it's Poppy's story in the first book, when she's
Yeah.
like starting to decide that she doesn't want to do this anymore. She doesn't want to
Mm-hmm.
be the maid and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And my only other note was I just thought it was kind of cute how Poppy was like, "Oh, what's your horse's name?" to Castile, and he's like, "Oh, I think it's Seti, right? Seti, I think is what we
Seti.
call him, Seti." Um, which is just he makes her believe it's just a horse given to him for the
Mhm.
journey, but in reality, Seti is his horse, and he raised him from a colt and named him after the god Theon, his horse, the god
See, I
of
thought it
war.
was after Addis's horse
No, that's I'm pretty sure
for
that's a
Edith.
different.
Oh, okay. And then her pleasure because she must work at Chick-fil-A. It's her pleasure. And then we go back to the trusty, dusty, handy sleeping trick again. And I almost forgot about that,
I
but don't
know when
worry.
he helps her
Castile reminded
relax.
us.
So then the next morning, because obviously Kieran, like I said, he knew what was going on, and so he kind of confronts I keep saying Cass about it, and he's like, "You good, dude? Because seems like things are getting a little deep over here."
Right?
And do you still have this goal in mind that we're supposed to be getting Malik out? And yeah, so
Yeah.
just a little point of view we didn't get in book one.
Yep. And then we have blood in the forest. So there's also tons of rocks and blood tree roots.
Yeah, they kept talking about the roots.
About the roots. And
I
like,
know.
I kind of think I remember this, but maybe I don't. But I just must have missed it the first time. I don't know. But I also wasn't looking for like the roots and stuff too.
Right.
But like we kind of talked about how like later I think they had been going through he talks about it when they're going I want to say somewhere and they have the whole situation with the temple ruins and everything like that. This might be in this spot too, but you tell it was a town that had been leveled or something. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly where Malik is. So I was right. They went past Malik
Yep.
and that's
Yep.
where he was.
Yep. Yeah, lots
Um,
and lots of that word kept popping up the roots.
hmm So then on the road, so she's asking all these things to Kieran, like she's just trying to talk to him and be friends with him and all that stuff. And she asks him what's Kieran's horse's name. And so he said its name was, I'm gonna say Pullus,
Yeah, sure.
which wasn't actually the horse's name, but it's the name of a lesser god that served under Penelope and was known to ask a lot of
I
questions.
know.
And then also, this is like when he's like, he offers her the cheese or whatever.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, are you not going to eat it?" And he says, and Castiel says, like, "Oh, well, if he was going to eat it, he wouldn't have offered it," or something like that.
If you don't take it, it's gonna hurt his feelings. You need to
Right.
take
But
it.
then but Castiel in his like inner monologue is talking about how she already ate all of her cheese and
And his.
Castiel's cheese. The woman loves cheese. And man, I do too. I'm
Yep.
lactose intolerant, so I shouldn't love cheese, but I love cheese too.
Yes.
Do you have anything else or no?
Mm-mm. Nope, that's it.
Okay, so then we jump into present number 10. And I'm gonna let you go off about this for a second.
Okay. So this is like the first new info that we get in this
Yes,
chapter chunk.
finally. About
Finally, it's
or
like
just kind of
not
in this
recap.
book for the most part.
Yeah, it's not recap. So we're in the present time. Again, Poppy's still in stasis. They're sitting there talking and they hear this commotion outside and it's outside the door and it's Malik and Millie are back. They come
Uh-huh.
back with
Yep.
Nail, I
Yeah,
think
because
is
Nail
his
had gone out to go hunt him.
name. Mhm.
Emil is outside the door, like guarding, and I want to say Delano and Kieran are in the room with him.
Yeah, I think so. Mhm.
Yep.
Yep. And so Millie comes in and she's just weird. And then so Cass is out talking with Malik and Millie is in with Poppy and Kieran.
Hmm.
Um anyway, so Cass is talking with Malik. They're hashing out all kinds of stuff and Cass is like, "Dude, why didn't you at least send word that you were not okay, but you're like you're alive. You've not joined them, but you've joined them." And Malik is explaining why he didn't send word, and I can understand. I can understand why Malik was like, I was damned if I do, damned if I don't kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and Cass can understand why Malik stuck around for Millie, even though Millie doesn't realize they're heartmates. But then they talk about how, so Malik tells Castiel how him and Millie were apparently out tracking down Revs and taking care of the ones that were going to be a problem, but they didn't get all of them. So there's definitely
Yeah.
still some out there that are going to be a problem. And they were killing those who were, those that they could. Cass is like, well, how are you doing that? Are you going to share that information with me? And Malik's like, well, the primal of life can kill them. The primal of death too, right? I believe. Um, and then he's like, well, and then Draken blood. And
Yeah.
then he shares how there's apparently a stash of Draken blood somewhere. And
Hmm.
if you dip an arrow or a sword in it and go for the heart or the head, it will kill a Rev. And then
Yeah.
Cass is like, "Well, are you gonna share where that blood's at?" And he goes, "Oh, that's a question for Millie." Um,
Yeah. They have a bunch of vials of it.
and then he also asks, "Well, thinking of Jadis, like,
Hmm.
well, what Draken was used to get these vials of blood? Because there hasn't supposedly been a Draken except for Jadis until now
Hmm.
in the mortal realm."
And that's what we have
And
left on our to-do list
yep,
from Uncle Nectus.
Nectus is out there looking for her. And Malik just makes a little comment in passing that, well, if that Draken is still alive, it's not in good shape.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So Millie and Malik leave to like go clean up or whatever. And then
sure.
Castile is just like, okay, back to fucking story
Story
time. And
time.
I'm not gonna lie, I was pissed because I was like, okay, sweet. Like our story's about to kick up. Like I totally thought for sure that like Castile and Kieran would like go do some badass shit
Mm-hmm.
because they wouldn't die while she was sleeping in theory. As long as nobody killed her,
True.
they'd still be alive
Oh, true.
because of the bond and everything that they did last time. So I was actually really pissed off when we went back to story time. I'm not even gonna lie.
See, considering that I had to try and get this read within like less than 48 hours, I was fine with it because it's like, okay, I can skim and go
Yeah,
fast.
that's true. Um, so then we get back to the story, and it's New Haven.
Hmm.
They're arriving at New Haven or whatever. And I'm taking this on because I love this.
Yep.
So he's having this meeting with Elijah and Delano, and I think Nail's there as well.
Hmm.
And they're just kind of like recapping, talking about what all's going on and how they're gonna basically move forward, right?
Hmm.
And then Delano says, yeah, he says I'm like a marshmallow, all gooey and soft on the inside. And can I just say I love Marshmallow Delano? And
I
I
know.
loved Delano even more than I thought I could in this section. Like he
Same.
is for sure one of my favorite freaking characters. And now he's top tier. It's now a foursome, not a threesome.
I
Okay.
know. I know. I
Delano is
do love
my
him.
favorite. So then we have unworthy and undeserving.
So this was just a little Castiel's talking about Poppy, and he talks with Poppy about her gift.
Mhm.
And
Oh yeah, because this is the later.
this is the yeah.
Finally the later.
Yep.
Yep.
And so this is where she like he is trying to leave her room and whatnot, and then this is
Uh-huh.
where she like propositions him. And then
And
we
then,
move on to the next one.
because men can only think with one head at a time.
Yep,
So
exactly. He really
then
was trying to think with
he
the
was
right
trying
head, and then
really hard.
the other one took over.
Um, and then we move on to This Is Real, and this is the OG no pants dance.
Yep. This was it. This is where they crossed the line.
Just from a different angle.
Yep.
Then we have It Was Over. And um so when he gets called, so Castiel gets called out of the room by Maja or whatever. And so he goes down to Elijah's office, and there's this Orion there, and he's here to deliver a message. And like, I'm starting to read this, and I'm like, who the fuck is this motherfucker?
Same. I know. I'm like,
I
who's Orion? Did we miss something?
was like, did I miss something?
This would be a
And then,
different point of view, a part of the book that we did not see in book one.
right. And then, like, after he tears out his heart, I was like, oh, guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't,
Yep.
doesn't matter who he is.
We did not know about him. I was really racking my brain, like, are we supposed to know who this guy is? Nope, never
Yep.
mind. We're not.
Yep. And then basically we know that Daddy Valen is coming
Hmm.
on his way, and he is coming to Benton, which is an abandoned town that they just use that they keep like some supplies and stuff like that. They keep one of the manors nice enough that like they can stay there and stuff, but it's
Hmm.
basically it's a ghost town. And then so I'm sorry, but I am back on my map shit again, okay?
Mm.
It doesn't make sense. And
Oh.
I need answers because there's no way any of this is right, okay? So in our original thing, right? So well, where they are at right now, New Haven, right?
Hmm.
They came from Macedonia, the capital.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
then they go to New Haven. So they go through the Blood Forest to New Haven.
Hmm.
Okay. Then they go all the way over to Pompeii.
Hmm.
Okay. Look where Pompeii is in comparison to Evmon. You could just go through
Hmm.
these trees right here, skirt around the bottom of the mountains, and be in Evmon.
Yeah.
Okay. But from Pompeii, then we go all the way down to Spessa's End,
Hmm.
which is 1 day ride. Okay. Which is
Right.
a 1 day ride down to Spessa's End. The distance between Spessa's End and Pompeii is like almost more than the distance from Spessa's End to Macedonia.
Yeah.
Okay. But then they go from Spessa's End, they go back into the Dead Bones clan, they go around the bottom of the Stygian Bay, then to the Skotos Mountains.
Hmm.
And that only takes like a day?
Hmm.
Or shit. I'm telling you, I don't think Spessa's End is where we think it is.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's no way. So Daddy Valen, he's over in Benton. Benton,
Burkton. Burktos.
whatever.
Burktos.
Burton, Burton, Burton,
That little
Burton.
tiny place right there
It's
past
in
New Haven.
Burton. In
Burktos.
Burton. Okay. He's coming from Burton as well. But why? Okay, and I think it even said like from Pompeii or something like that. So if he went to Pompeii, so he went all the way down the Skotos Mountains, he went
Hmm.
past basically Berkton or whatever to Pompeii and then back to Berkton. This doesn't make any fucking sense and it pisses me off. But you see what I'm saying though?
Yeah, yeah,
This doesn't make any sense and it pisses me off.
yeah. So yeah, why would he go around to?
And if we
Yeah.
don't get an explanation of why this map sucks ass, I'm gonna be pissed. And my husband is sitting right here, who is the map guy. Like he can do maps more than anything in the world, and he's looking at me like I'm crazy. But I will die on this hill that there is either they need to say that they fucked up the map during publishing and editing and whatever, or there's gonna be a reason, and I'm gonna find the fuck out.
Yep.
Okay, my map rant is over, and we will probably have to have a whole separate tiny video that
I
has
know.
my whole map rant again because this shit pisses me off. Anyway, I think there's more to it, so why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so I think this is also where, because they did the thing, him and Cass and Poppy do the deed. He's in bed with her sleeping. Then he gets called away for this meeting. All the stuff
Mhm,
goes down with Orion and whatnot. And then he realizes, like, okay, fun's over. Time to actually become the Dark One. And so this is when he's in the meeting. This is also when in book one we see Phillips taking Poppy and being like, "Shit's not right. We got to get out of here." So then
mhm.
this is where they have their little showdown in the barn. This is the beginning of it, and then we go to the
Yeah.
next chapter,
Yep, which is a broken breath,
which again is just a
the
recap of
fighting
the
in the
fight in the
barn.
barn.
Yep. And then not everything was a lie.
So recap of Castile kind of, fixing her up in the dungeons because she got a little bit injured during the fight in the barn. She's being held in the dungeons, and this is where he goes over the history lesson again. Well, not
Yep.
again, but it's again for us, with her about the Ascended and the Vampiries and Isbeth and Malik and all that stuff.
Yep. 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 And then we have present number 11.
Hmm. So this is when Castile, we're back in the present. He's just talking to her about how, like, hey, remember when you stabbed me? Like, normally, someone who stabbed me, if someone stabbed me, even though, like, Kieran knew that it wouldn't kill me, he would have, like, lost his shit and that person would be
Mhm.
dead. But the only reason he didn't hurt you was because he knew. And in the
Yeah.
book, the word he knew was italicized. Like, he knew what was going on, he knew
Yeah.
who you were to me.
And then we have in the snow. And the only new thing I learned from this was that basically he was on the edge of bloodlust, and
Yeah,
that's why
he had
he
no
bit
control.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I did always wonder, like, what made him just do that?
And then we have I was right.
Hmm.
And so this one was like big for me because Delano, um, it, because she saved his life down in the
Hmm.
dungeons. I
Hmm.
think Nails too, but she saved Delano's life down in the dungeons. So he pledged to guard her with his life.
Hmm.
And I freaking love him. And I think that's why we see him so much and like such a strong thing with him. And like that's like I think why that bond hit so fast because he's the first one to talk into her mind later when they're going over the
Oh,
Skotos
yeah, you're right.
Mountains. He's the first one to say Maya Lisa. He's always there and he is always guarding her. He always has his eyes on her. Like,
Yep, very
I think
true.
that's why it's such a big, like a I guess a bond, obviously, but like it's not a joining, but it's definitely like a stronger bond than that primal notum or whatever. You know what
Well,
I
and
mean?
yeah, because they even say that how when a woven's life has been saved by somebody, that like snaps something in them where they're like they are bound by honor
Hmm.
to protect that person now.
Yep. Yep. So that's all I have about that.
Oh, I had this part was funny because
Oh
um
yes, I see it. Yeah.
this
I
is the part
died.
too. So Castiel's talking about how Like in book 1, from Poppy's point of view, we just see when she goes down to dinner to the hall, and she sees all of the mortals, Wolven, Atlanteans that
Whatever,
fought
the
against them,
attackers.
that attacked her in the dungeon, how Castiel's got them all like spiked to the wall. And so this is, but right before that, when Castiel's like, "All right, we know what's gonna need to happen here," and he asks Delano like, "Are you up for this? Because we're gonna do this," and
Mm-hmm.
meaning we're gonna take care of these guys. We're gonna spike under the wall. And Delano's like, "Hell yeah, let's do this." And then
Well, I
Elijah's
think it
like,
was more like Castiel's like, you don't have to do this or whatever.
"Mm-hmm,
And they said, we're helping you with this or something like that.
mm-hmm, yeah." And then Elijah's like, "Huh, Delano, damn, my little marshmallow's getting crispy."
Okay, so then we have plans have changed now.
Yes, officially, if we haven't figured that out yet. So Castiel is arguing with Poppy, recap, telling her how he's going to escort her down to dinner
Yep,
at this point.
Goshen
But
State.
this is where, in his mind, right before he tells her he's going to escort her, this is where he tells Kieran is the only one who knows at this point. But he tells Kieran, like, I'm going to marry her. We're taking her
Hmm.
home. I'm going to marry her only to keep her safe. Like,
Yep.
yeah, there's an attraction there. But Kieran's like, mm hmm, mm hmm, just to keep her safe. Okay, whatever you say there, dude. But,
Okay, and then we have My Princess, which is this last story we have.
yep, last recap that we have. And this is when Castile announces to Poppy and everyone else for the first time, except for Kieran. Kieran's the only one who, like, knows what's going on here, but announces to everyone for the first time that basically that Poppy is half Atlantean and he's taking her back home and he's going to marry her.
And so when I tell you after, okay, we'll get to the last chapter here in just a
Okay.
second. But as soon as I was done reading, I went through because I was like, oh, I want to know like when I called this, which we'll
Uh
get
huh.
to. And I was reading notes that we had from book 2,
Hmm.
and I'm telling you, there's some stuff in there. And maybe we just need to do a
Really?
whole, yeah, just like a quick
Oh.
talk about all sorts of things. But I found a lot of stuff. But
Oh,
like if
okay.
I were to reread this series, I would probably have like a way bigger like thoughts and theories than I do now.
Mm.
Um, but that being said, let's move on to the last chapter, which is present 12. So here the fuck we go. And it's about damn time. So Castiel's been telling her these stories and he keeps kind of like drifting off to sleep because now he's like kind of tired. And then this Rev dude comes in, right? So he
Hmm.
must have gotten in through the window because nobody else has heard him or anything like that.
Well, he keeps saying you should have shut the window.
You should have
Should have
shut the
shut the
window.
window.
Yeah. And then it's like what comes back is Victor's omen from like the beginning of this book when he's talking to him.
Hmm.
Do you
Okay,
remember this?
I don't remember. Continue.
Oh, hold on. I marked it. Don't worry. I know you read this chapter like 20 minutes ago,
I
but
did. Mm.
okay, so I have it. So it says, the cold press of unease hit my chest as the prickle at the nape of my neck gave off a warning. I heard Victor's voice as if he were standing right beside me, speaking the same words he had that morning in the training yard. All it takes is a second for your enemy to gain the upper hand. And then
Mm.
a couple things about how this Rev is letting one of the daggers fly. He didn't throw it at me, he'd gone for Poppy. And then it says, nothing more than the length of a heartbeat given to either arrogance or vengeance to then lose all which truly matters. And it says, it had been an omen then, a lesson Victor had promised me I'd learn, one I still hadn't.
Oh wow, I missed
And that
that.
was, yes. So that was from the last reading section we had.
Yeah.
It was literally the chapter called An Omen or whatever. And it's
Hmm.
when Victor and Castile are fighting,
Right.
doing
Training.
the
Yeah.
training or
Hmm.
whatever. And I'm telling you, there is something between Victor and Castile because he would not have fucking told him that for that to come back in this moment
Yeah.
when, okay, and it says he feels a tingling on the back of his neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
And that
remember it all
happened.
now that you're saying it.
And then that has actually happened a couple times in this book where Castile has had this weird feeling, even throughout his stories, of tingling on the back of his neck.
Uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I just said. So the Rev dude has these two bone daggers that the Rev tells Cass are bones of the ancients. So, quote, bones of the ancients, sharper than bloodstone, harder than shadowstone, and deadlier than both, able to kill a god with just a prick and incapacitate a primal. Okay. And before we move on to like kind of the next part, so just a prick to kill a god and incapacitate a
incapacitate.
primal, in,
Uh-huh.
whatever. That's another word I have a hard time with. A primal.
Well,
Okay.
okay,
Hold
really quick.
on. Just follow me for 1 second. Okay, hold on, hold on. Hold on. I'm freaking out right now. And then here in just a second, when we get into the exciting stuff, he keeps
Uh-huh.
saying primal, the primal urge, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he feels like or sees almost could almost see silvery cords coming from Poppy,
Yep.
but I don't think it is. Yeah, then we get into the creepy nursery rhyme, and I know you have
Yeah.
stuff too, and I'm just going. So you
No, the only
cut
thing
in
I'm
with
gonna add,
whatever you want.
I'll let you take this. The only thing I just wanted to add to the bloods, the daggers, the bones of the ancients, because
Hmm.
right before he like fully explains what the quote that you just read about them, the sharper than
Hmm.
bloodstone, harder than shadowstone part, um, he says to to Castile, um, he goes, and how are you? So Castile says, and how are you going to do that by talking me to death or with your little white knife? And he says, white knife. Another sandpaper laugh grated my skin. This is the bone of the ancients. You fucking idiot, false primal. That's the part where I was like, you
Hmm.
fucking idiot, false primal. And then it was like right
False
after that
primal.
is you can take the rest.
Uh-huh. Okay, so yeah, again, okay. Um, okay, hold on. So then we have like he starts saying that so Castiel's like basically pinned to the wall, right? He can't move anything. That would be
Well,
like
because he's been stabbed by this
no.
thing, by
Okay,
this
think about it. When
dagger.
he okay. Bones of the Asian star for blah 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 blah. And deadlier than both, able to kill a god with just a prick. This thing is stabbed into him and it's like holding him against the
Yeah.
wall. Okay.
And it
And
feels like his skin is like pulling away and like
incapacitate
melting.
and melting inside.
Mm-hmm.
Incapacitate a primal.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying he could not will his arms to move like nothing.
Right. Right.
He couldn't say anything.
He was
I'm sorry. I don't.
incapacitated.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. But yes, some could argue that this is like whatever the bond is, like um
Oh,
pushing that primal
with the
energy
joining
in,
thing.
yeah,
Right.
pushing
Mm-hmm.
that primal energy into him or whatever, or he's able to use it or whatever, which could be the possibility, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think
No,
so.
I don't think so either.
Okay. Because like think about the very beginning of the book when Nectus is like not what, but or not, I don't know, but who he is related to, descended from,
Yeah.
right? That his
Mm-hmm.
blood is descended from.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like you're
it's
so much like your
it's an
ancestor or
is. Uh-huh.
something. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And is. So it's somebody that's still here.
Yep.
And I've been saying so many times that like he is related to one of these freaking gods. Is he related to one of these fucking primal gods?
Yeah, totally. I think so.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think so too. And then um so anyway, so then this like creepy nursery rhyme because Cassio can't do anything at this moment, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then there's this creepy nursery rhyme. So this is the creepy nursery rhyme dude, and we don't even know who the fuck
Yeah.
this motherfucker is, but
Right?
he's also a hamburger, man burger, man burger. I like that so much. It's
Rev
not even funny.
burger.
Red burger. I like, yeah, red burger. Delicious. Um, but yeah, so he's the one that's saying the creepy fucking nursery rhyme
Yes.
about to fucking kill Poppy. And then it's saying like the primal shifting or whatever, he feels it,
Yes.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
then it says blood of ash and ice.
Yep.
He's the blood of ash and
I
ice.
know.
He's the blood of ash and ice. It's not Poppy, it's fucking him. Okay, okay, okay,
Uh-huh.
okay. So then Castiel shifts and he looks over into a fucking mirror. He is a mutter friggin' cave cat.
I
And I
know.
have been calling this fucking thing since book one. I actually went back today to like look and figure it out. I've been thinking about it since the mention of a cave cat when she was saying about how I remember the cave cats back in whatever, and then
Mm,
um at some point she's like, yeah, his eyes were almost feline or something like that, and I was like, I
mm-hmm,
wonder if he's
mm-hmm.
like a cave cat of some sort. Totally just throwing it out there. And then it happened a couple several different times. And then there's many times when she says, oh, he looked like the god of Theon just standing, the god Theon just standing there or whatever. And I was like,
Yes.
I'm like, that's fucking next. I know it. So anyway,
Yep.
so I've been calling that from the beginning and I'm so fucking excited. And I was blowing up. And like I said, I have known all this information for much longer than Jess. And I had to sit there and just be like, no reaction. And I will also put pictures of our conversation
That
of
was
the memes that I
hilarious.
sent her while I'm just sitting here like twiddling my thumbs
Have you
because I
finished
can't
yet?
do
Have you
anything.
finished
I
yet?
can't say anything. I can't have any fucking reaction because I don't need her to know anything and I don't want to spoil anything for her, but I am freaking the fuck out right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So he kills the Rev for now, maybe. We don't
Chops him up
know.
into Rev Burger.
Has a good little snack, right?
Yeah.
And then so Kieran and Emil comes in and he like doesn't recognize him. He doesn't even know who he is. Like he doesn't know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. All he knows is that
He's acting on
Poppy's
instinct,
mine.
and that's it.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And so Kieran is like talking to him because Kieran can hear him what he's thinking,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And like Amal can't. So he shoves them all out. And then he's talking to Cass, but he's not talking to him um with his mouth. Like he's not using words.
No.
They're speaking mind to mind. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jess, you get to have mind speak. And
I
I'm
know.
I'm
That was
very happy for you.
awesome. That was so cool.
And it made me think back to, I don't remember even which book this is, but when they first get to Scion's Cove, I think like that, on the other side of Skotos Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And Poppy and Kieran have figured out that how to shift or how to talk into each other's minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's making me think. I'm not necessarily primal notum, but like something like the wolves can obviously like hear each other's thoughts and stuff like that. So
Right.
maybe that has something to do with it. This cave cat can also talk with this wolven.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or it could just be the bond with Poppy, which is kind of what they're thinking, but I don't think so. But
Well, and they also talk about they kind of threw this one in here, what I just thought was interesting that um did I get this right? Valen also likes to shift into a cave cat. And Kieran is like, "Oh, that makes
no,
sense that you'd be a cave cat because that's what your dad likes to do." I'm almost positive I read that
no, they were
just a couple of
saying
minutes
that's
ago.
what Poppy's dad, because they're thinking this is
Okay.
coming from
Oh, okay.
Poppy.
I just was thinking of the wrong
Yeah.
dad. Like
They're
I read that
thinking
fast,
that
so
yeah, no, you're good. They're thinking that this is coming from Poppy. That's why he was
that
able to
makes more
do it or
sense.
whatever. Like basically she gave him the power.
Okay,
And
that makes
so
sense.
that he shifted into a cave cat because that's like what her dad would do or something.
Iris
Yeah,
did. Yeah.
Iris
Yep.
did.
Okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Which would be like in her blood. I don't know, whatever.
Sure.
So that's what they're thinking, but I don't think so. I think he's always had this fucking shit on him. Um and
Well, because he
so
talks about how he feels like it's coming from inside of him, not
uh-huh
from out from her. It's like from him. Like it's been there all along. He
from
even I think I could be wrong, but I think he even says it like it's been there. It's just been there,
it's
and
been
it
there.
comes out. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yep. And then Kieran is like basically talking to him like, hey, do you remember when I shifted the first time and I didn't know who I
Mm-hmm.
was or how to get back and stuff like that? And then so he's able to like snap into it and he's like starting to freak out because he can't figure out how to shift. And then like
Mm-hmm.
Kieran's like, you just will it to happen. So he's able to do it. Um, yeah. And just so they get him back, right? And that's when the ground starts rumbling
Mm-hmm.
and it's very obvious this is another god awakening, so obviously it's going to be Poppy, right?
Right.
And she wakes up the primal of blood and bone,
Yes.
life and death. And I was like, fuck
I
yes.
know. I know. And I love that these books, and I hope it continues with the next book, that they just seem to like pick up right where the last one left off.
Yes.
That we're not going to have to go through a whole bunch of like backstory or extra story before we find out like what happens with Poppy.
Yeah. Um,
And they also did say how, well, like, hey, if you can shift, that means Poppy's going to be able to shift too.
Poppy's
And
gonna be able
Cass
to
is
shift. She's gonna be
like, oh,
so
she's going to be
excited to
so
hear that.
excited.
Yeah.
I just wonder what she's going to be able to shift into.
Yeah. And so
I think
I'm
it's
kind
going to
of
be a
wondering,
Draken.
oh, she's gonna 100% shift into a Draken because I bet she
Yeah.
can shift into whatever she wants.
Yeah.
So I had this other thought, and I don't even know what chapter I read it in, but it was like an afterthought, right?
Hmm.
So at some point, he's talking about these symbols, right? The symbol of life and the symbol of death.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The symbol of life is a pointed star.
Hmm.
And the symbol of death is like a line through a circle.
Hmm.
Okay. The Atlantean crest is like a sun, right?
Yeah.
So life, the symbol of life. And then we already know that the blood crown crest or whatever is
Hmm.
that circle with a line through it.
Yeah.
So, okay, blood crown death. So
Uh-huh.
blood death, life is the sun or a pointed star. And all I can think back is the freaking diamond or whatever that we were talking, the jewel, the star
Oh,
jewel or
the
whatever
Star Jewel.
that we don't know what it is, but it's something important,
Hmm.
but we don't really understand it yet. So I think I don't know. I don't know if that's life and the blood is death. And then it's like the ash and the ice, because the
Yeah.
ash and the ice is coming from him. And it's like from blood and ash we will rise. I don't know. Like there's a lot of just like symbolism right now. And it's like, have you seen those memes where it's just like, I can't think of what her name is, the actress's name is, but she's just sitting there looking confuzzled. And then there's like all these like super smarty pants, like math equations, like circling
Uh-huh.
around her.
Yes.
This is me right now. And I can't get it's all there. Or like the guy from the whatever TV show, and he's like freaking out and he's like standing next to this board with these red strings and they're fucking
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yes.
That is me. I haven't figured this out right now, but I hope to, I plan to, I just don't know how yet, other than reading all the rest of the books.
I know.
And I
Well,
know
okay,
we'll get
so
answers to all of them, but
I pulled back up the prophecies
oh
because
Jesus. Okay, here we go.
no, I'm not gonna. I won't read the whole thing.
Okay.
I'm just looking at them because I really I'm on board. I would say I'm 99% on board with the idea that Cass got this power from inside himself. That
Mm.
because especially because the Rev called him a false primal and they keep referring to his ancestor, and we've had
Mhm.
a suspicion for a while that he, or you especially have had the suspicion for a while that he's descended from one of these primals or gods.
Or he's a god. Yeah.
Right. And so, but then okay, so then I'm looking at the prophecy, the whole ash and ice part, because that's like right before he shifts, he says that he feels this blood of ash and ice, like this thing rising up
Mm-hmm.
inside of him, right? Okay, so the prophecy, so let's start from okay, so a first daughter with blood full of fire fated for the one promised king, and the second daughter with blood full of ash and ice, the other half of the future king. Together they will remake the realms as they usher the end. So we've kind of decided, right, that the second daughter with blood full of ash and ice is Poppy, which is the other
Mm-hmm.
half of the future king. So
Blood full of
Castile.
ash and ice. They
Uh-huh.
swap blood all the time.
True.
I
True.
didn't, that sounded weird,
Very
but
true.
you know what
But
I
so
meant?
I'm wondering though, is like that blood full of ash and ice feeling that he got, like, is that from her? Was it actually from her? He changes into
Yeah.
what her dad was, or likes to change into. Or is it truly from inside of him? Because they make a point of making it seem like it came from him, not from her.
Yes,
So I
exactly.
like I like the idea more that it's from him, not from her. That's his own separate power, not because of the bond. But that part just made me I was
Yeah.
just looking at that and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. So I know we kind of already moved on to our final thoughts, and I said most of mine. The only other thing is that just um I hope this next book starts off literally right here with
Yeah.
her waking up. And I don't think she's going to remember who she is, at least not right out of the bat. I think
Mm-hmm.
at like over some time, she'll like start to figure it out, kind of like just whew, Cass just did when he was a cat. That was hard. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, just the first chapter and this last chapter made the book. There's so many little Easter eggs throughout apparently all of these books, but
Yeah.
even in this one, it was just kind of some things like going back and like looking and seeing it a different way. And I think like the stuff with the Victor and stuff like that, like I think all that was things that we needed to know or needed to remember that happened kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think it needed to be 500 plus pages. I'd say like a 200-page novella and I would have
Yeah.
been happy.
Yeah.
But we need to hurry up because now I need this. I need to go read this.
I know.
But that's about all I've got for finishing thoughts and theories. Do you have anything?
I think I'm about the same as you. I do think they've made such a big point of saying how she could potentially not remember. And so I
Yeah.
think they're going to try and I think Jennifer Armentrout's going to try and scare us a little bit in the beginning and make it seem like she's not going to remember, but she's going to.
Yeah.
Obviously, at some point she's going to remember everything's going on, but I think when she first wakes up, she's not going to remember everything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I hope it starts off right exactly where this left off. And I agree with you. This book could have been much shorter. I enjoyed it. I did like going back and seeing it from a different point of view. Um, but yeah, I think I'm
Yeah.
about the same with you on all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So book readings.
So I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh,
I
really? Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did. I liked that the chapters were shorter. I liked that I already knew kind of what was going on, so I could read through it quickly and just look for the little tidbits of info instead of having to pay attention to every single word, making sure I don't
Hmm.
miss something. And yeah, I liked seeing the different point of view. I liked it a lot. But I love that kind of stuff. I love prequels and history and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
4.5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I give it a 3.75. Like I
Yep,
might
it's
even
fair.
like bump it up to a 4, but it's only just because of the last chapter. Like when I was like, okay, I've only got one chapter left, I was like, this is like a 2.5. Like I'm like so bored, so done and ready to move on right now that I would, because I thought it was just going to end up where she was just going to wake up and that was going to be the
Mhm.
cliffhangers that she woke up and you didn't know. I didn't know all this other stuff was going to come in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not like a lot came in, but still stuff came in. And I was like, this
Yeah,
is like,
stuff you
I
weren't
get it.
expecting. Mhm.
And I definitely think it was for a, hey, don't forget this shit, or here's another little thing
Mhm.
that you're going to need to know that you didn't pick up on. Um, so I was like, okay, it is what it is. It doesn't have to be the best book or whatever, but yeah, that shocked me at the end and I was so excited. So fucking excited.
Mhm.
um, so that bumped it up to, I like I said, I might even go a 4, but I'm gonna stick to the 3.75.
Okay.
Okay, so for series cry counter, where are you at, Jess?
Okay, so I think I'm at a 1 right
Okay,
now for the whole series.
okay. And I'm still hanging out at a 2.25, which is wild.
Jeez. Dang.
I know, right? Apparently this book has me all sorts of emotional.
I
I
guess.
don't expect anything else coming, but if Delano cries, I'll throw the whole book. I'll quit. I will quit.
Cries or
Delano dies,
dies? What'd you
I
just say? I thought
quit.
you said cries.
I
Do
Yeah,
you
I
mean
know, but
dies?
I will cry so hard if Delano dies. Like I will
Yeah.
throw the
Oh
whole
yeah.
book. I'm nope. Ain't gonna happen.
I will say that this book, if anything, made me definitely love Delano way more than I ever did before.
Yeah, because like I think it was the War of Two Queens. You were like, I'm suspicious of him and Perry, and yeah, I'm still
Mhm.
suspicious of Perry as shit.
Mhm.
But you were like with Delano, and I was like, you can't. That's my boy. You cannot. That is my boy. I
Yeah.
disagree.
So we hope that you are all loving both of these series as much as we are. We are first-time readers to this series, so we hope that you're following along with us. Or if you've already read the series, we hope that our discussions can be a refresher for you before we all start a Primal of Blood and Bone that is out today. So run, don't walk to get your copy.
Make sure to join us on Facebook and Instagram for more fun and conversations and updates about our next series. That's right. We have our next series in the works. Don't forget to check out our club on the Fable app where you can discuss with us spoiler free chapter by chapter.
Our next two episodes will be bonus episodes discussing the last two books in the Flesh and Fire series, A Fire in the Flesh and Born of Blood and Ash, both by Jennifer Armentrout.
We will start back up with The Primal of Blood and Bone in 2 weeks from today with our first of 4 reading sections.
If you are enjoying reading along with us or just enjoying our conversations and theories, be sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button on your way out.
And buddy reading any book with book besties is so much fun.
So make sure to share our podcast with your book besties. And if you don't have any book besties,
Then consider yourself one of ours. And until next time, fill those drinks with ice.
and your books with spice.
Bye.
Bye.